Hey everybody, how's it going? Marcos Villegas here in Las Vegas, being joined with Coach Bomac, who's getting geared up for this pay-per-view fight with your man Terence Crawford taking on Shawn Porter. We just had the press conference, something that I'm not used to seeing. Huge respect between both you and his team. That's what I like to see, good sportsmanship in these types of competitions.
Well, it should be like that, but not all time it's going to be like that. But those two camps go back some long way, amateurs when they were 15, 16 years old. Been knowing Kenny for a minute. I call him on the phone, he'll call me, we'll talk boxing, we'll talk fights, and we don't got nothing against them. And I know they don't got nothing against us. It's just business.
What type of relationship do you have with Kenny and Shawn? And how deep does it go?
I don't talk to him every day or nothing like that. But it goes back, when like I said, so like 15 or 16 when it was in the amateurs, they trained at our gym when they came to the nationals in Omaha. I've seen them at national tournaments. Kenny's been on the USA team, one of the coaches, and keep me updated with Bud while he was out there. Just me rooting for Shawn in the nationals. Kenny rooting for Bud, so it goes back a long way.
Given that dynamic, you guys are so used to each other, is it anything awkward having Terence and Shawn fight? Does it make it awkward now?
No, not at all, because simple fact, they came up just the same way we came up. We got it from the mud, and they got it from the bottom, and it's the same thing. So they put their time and their energy and their life and made some changes in their lives to make it happen and make everything successful for them. And we did the same thing. So now it's time we cross paths, and we know that it's nothing personal. It's just business. And I got 100% confidence that my guy is going to get the job done.
It's a tremendous fight. I love the fight, actually, just because I know the dog in Terence and the dog in Shawn. I thought it was funny that Kenny brought up a story about seeing Terence in an alleyway. Did you hear of that? Did you know of that? Yeah. What happened there?
Well, Terence got into it with some of the guys on the team. And
how long ago was that?
I think they were like 16 then. Yeah. So that was
him as a 16-year-old?
Yeah, it was him as a 16-year-old. So 16, I think 16 or 17. So Terence got into it with somebody on the team, and they was trying to kick him off the team or kick him out the facility or something. Then the coach called me and said we're gonna send him home, and it was just a big misunderstanding. But Terence stood up for what he believed in.
I know, like you mentioned, you're 100% sure that Terence is going to beat Shawn, but do you see this as a challenge that you guys have never encountered in terms of what Shawn brings to the ring, or do you feel that you've seen a lot of what Shawn brings to the ring in prior fights?
I've seen a lot of what Shawn has brought to the ring, but I've never seen nobody, determining like that as Shawn, because trying to get hit, he'll constantly keep coming. And a lot of guys with Terence and fought, you go upside their head, they're gonna take a few steps backwards. So I'm excited for the fight, and I know what type of fighter Shawn is, and I know what type of preparation Kenny's going to put him through to try to get the win, and that just make us step up our game a little bit more.
Do you think the key for them to be successful in the fight is the conditioning to try to outwork Terence?
Well, I don't think they're going to be able to do anything to try to outwork us or beat us. So, they could probably do all they want. But at the end of the day, it's between them two fighters.
What do you make of Shawn's inside game? Because obviously that's a big facet of his game. That's what really gets him in fights, and he has the ability to really just work people on the inside.
Well, he got a great inside game, and I commend him for that, and Terence does too. So, I want to see him come inside, because you're gonna see who got the stronger legs and who got the stronger arms, and who got the better shots up the middle, who got the shorter shots, who got the better step arounds, who got the more dog in them, and when it comes to that, so I'm excited to see it.
I don't think we've seen Terence in that type of position where he's on the inside just exchanging for long periods of time over a 12-round fight.
He don't have to because he has it because, Terence is going to handle business like he's supposed to. So it ain't going to be nothing different from any other fight.
Do you have an inkling or like a feeling that Shawn's going to try to flip the script on you and you guys are expecting maybe an inside fight and he goes and he tries to box like he did with the Spence fight?
No, regardless of what he brings to the table, the whole world have seen Terence fight 4 or 5 different styles and adapt 4 or 5 different ways. So if you try to fight inside, let's fight inside. If you try to box him, let's box. If you try to rush, come on. So if you try to hold, whatever. So it don't matter to us.
I felt that it was a huge nod of respect to you guys when Shawn over here, he did a scrum with us, said that he felt that this was the most dangerous fight of his career. He feels that Terence is more dangerous than Errol Spence Jr.
Well, because just look at, what Terence has done in the past to his other opponents. I mean, I can't tell you, it's been years since the last time he went 12 rounds. So he goes in there and dominate them right off top, Do
you think the fight does go 12 rounds or do you think that Terence will catch him with something if he comes in?
Well, I'll tell you like this. We train for 15 rounds, but if it's a stoppage is there, we in shape to go for it.
But do you have a personal inkling? Like, do you just see like style-wise, like, nah, we're going to hit him with something and he'll probably go down?
Again, we prepare for 15 rounds. If the stoppage is there, we're going to take it. All right?
Last thing. I thought it was an interesting thing. Tom Brown speaks and Terence stops him and goes, wait, look, did you just hear that? What'd you make of him sounding off on that and wanting to set his side of the story straight that he doesn't want to fight the fighters on the PBC side?
Because it always said that Terence was running from the PBC fighters. So Terence stopped him in his tracks to let him know, hey, it's never was me. It never is me. I want to fight the best. So he just proves it to the world.
What do you make of that narrative that was created around Crawford that he didn't want to fight those guys?
I don't pay no attention to that. You know what I'm saying? And all the narratives out the window now. It's time to go to work. Shit, it's time to go to work.
What do you make that Shawn was more than willing to go and fight Terence, the first one of those fighters to go in and challenge him?
That's good. That's what you want, man. That just shows a determined fighter right there. A determined fighter. And you want that. You want those type of fights, man. That's what makes you better.
I asked Terence this yesterday. I asked him, hey, I feel like you missed a huge opportunity with Pacquiao retiring, and it's sad to see that we never saw that fight because he retired. And he's like, yeah, no, it's true, but I can't worry about that. And I asked him, well, do you see like you can't miss an opportunity to fight Spence now, like because you already missed on a Pacquiao? Like, does it make it more like more urgency to try to secure that fight? How do you feel about that? Do you feel that given that you guys missed out on the Pacquiao fight that there is some sense of urgency after this fight to get that Spence fight?
Well, we just see what lies next for Terence. You know what I'm saying? What type of fashion, spectacular fashion that Terence dominates Shawn in, and see if Spence got the balls to say, I want to step in there with that guy. I want to see it too. I want to see him step up and say something, because, Terence said he done chasing Spence, and so Spence must come out of hiding when Terence stopped Porter or just beat him down or whatever the case got to be. I know Ugas is always going to be willing and ready to go. But it's Spence. Spence going to be willing and ready to go. Must be seen.
What do you make of the dynamic now of the eye? Do you think Spence will be the same? Do you think he can bounce back, or it's kind of like a tricky thing, like you got to see what the next fight?
Well, you just me as a boxing fan, we hope we get better. Me as a parent, just take his time and heal up, man. His health is more important than anything. So I'm split both ways, but pretty much the same as he get better. So if he do lose, or if we do lose a close fight, or we barely get past a fight, there won't be no excuses for him.
Let me ask you this, and I know you kind of alluded to it. If Terence is dominant in this fight, it makes it look easy. Do you feel you fall into the same problem again that you guys have been 2 years past, even up until now before this fight, of not being able to get those fights?
Well, you can say that. You can say that for the simple fact that, Shawn do got a few losses. They've been close losses, but I mean, if Terence when Terence dominates this cat, somebody gonna say something. It's gonna be an excuse out there, or he lost 3 times already, So we just want to win. We just want to win.
You got to be. I guess I'm hopeful as a fan seeing Shawn and Terence fight. That gives me hope that, okay, maybe we could see Terence with Spence, with Thurman, with Danny. Like, do you guys share that same hope? Like, hey, they're doing business now. This is good.
Yeah. It's just better business for the more future fighters to come. Even the younger guys just coming up. That sign over here, and this sign over there. Just, hopefully they continue to work together to make the best fights.
I know you have a high IQ for boxing, so I want to get your take on this Canelo versus Caleb Plant fight. How do you see it going, and break it down for us?
Canelo's just going to be Canelo. I know he is. Plant is going to be a great boxer. But I just see Canelo stop him in the later rounds, catching him. He's a great middle puncher, punching between the fights, punching between the punches. Good timing, got good timing. I mean, and he's powerful. So I just see starting off being a good fight. Plant, front running it, and then just Canelo just kind of walking away home probably with the stoppage later in the later rounds.
Is there anyone in that division at 168 or even at 160 you feel that can beat Canelo right now?
No, not right now. Not nobody that's active. Not nobody that's active. Now I do got a kid, just healing up from an injury. That's right. That I wouldn't mind putting him in there with Canelo. Once he heal up, getting more fights underneath his belt, because he's tricky. He's real tricky.
So you don't think like a Charlo or David Benavidez could beat or potentially beat Canelo, or at least complicate things?
Well, they'll give him a run for his money. They will give him a run for his money. But Canelo will figure it out.
Yeah, it's crazy how much better he's gotten, like the IQ-wise, like especially with the counter-punching.
Yeah, most fighters. Well, you got to look at the pound-for-pound fighters. You look at Terence. The better the more he in the game, and the better off he's getting. Same with Canelo. Same with the monster. It's better and better. That's boxing IQ, and that's what you call pound for pound.
Yeah, because it seemed for like a big part of his career he was so, I don't want to say stiff, but like very predictable, and now he's like a lot more fluid. But you're right, as a fighter grows and matures, they get better.
Mentally, it's a mental game. It's just like that when you going through school from 1st grade to 12th grade. You get better and better with your rhythmics and your language and gym, PE. You get better and better, just like boxing, from the amateur to the pros to the Hall of Fame.
Same with trainers too.
Hey, yeah, we learn. We learn. I promise you that. And my first test was Gamboa. Terence made the adjustment in the ring, but I went back and told the team, I said, we should have tried to make that adjustment first too as a corner. And I learned from that. I swear to God I learned from that, and that just makes us a better team.
Did that fight stress you out?
Fuck yeah, that fight stressed me out, man. But that dog that Terence got in him, and he wanted to happen. He wanted to make it happen.
What was going on through your mind during those rounds where he was touching up Terence?
Come on, man. Come on. You gotta push a little bit harder. Push a little bit harder. So that's what I was thinking. And it happened.
I was surprised. Like I felt that he would be dominant, like Terence, because he's so big. And yeah, Gamboa was good, but he's always had that problem. He's like too brave for his own good.
Yeah. And he just kept coming, which is good for him. Well, it's good for us, but bad for him because just that brave heart that he had in him. Just made for a good fight.
Do you feel, seeing how good Terence is and knowing that he could switch the orthodox and southpaw, is there anyone that's going to be able to beat him or at least give him a challenge outside of Shawn? Do you foresee?
I really, right now, I can't see nobody keeping up with Terence. You know, he's 34, and he's getting older. He's getting stronger, and he's getting wiser. He's training wiser now, which is great for the team itself, his family, because he's training like, man, he got another 10 years left in him. So, I mean, it's great. You know, my name is Brian McIntyre. It was great doing this interview. He said one more time 20 minutes ago.
My bad, Bomac. No, it's just interesting. I like having these conversations with especially trainers because you guys are so insightful and you know the game. And I love boxing. Like I like talking about that stuff. But Bomac, I know you got to go. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
No problem.